Couple of weeks ago, I went over Todd McShay's big board. So today I decided, hey, I should push out my own. So here's my top 100 big board as it currently stands. But what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comments section below. Let's have that nice, beautiful football discourse. Go Joe. Throwing his own input there and whatnot. But speaking of Gojo, he is literally the sponsor of today's video, Underdog Fantasy. I need to get you a yellow scarf, Gojo. But it's a great way to support the channel if you like to do weekly fantasy, player prop bets, or just odd pick'ems and whatnot. Then check out Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code Broshmo when you sign up. Helps the channel out. Also, bet responsibly, my friends. Bet responsibly. Let's go ahead and get into this sucker. We're going to be starting from the back with 100. I got Anthony Orgy out of Vandy, linebacker class. Linebacker class in general is a little... it's one of the weaker classes, admittedly. Big fan of Orgy, though. This guy flies all over the field, especially on a team where it's not a lot of talent. Not a lot for Vandy. But, hey, to be fair, Vandy, man, they snagged 2 wins in the SEC this season against Anthony Richardson and Will Levis, who we'll see later on this list. By the way, if you don't see a guy that you think should be on the list, let me know in the comment section below. Also, I don't, like, there's either some guys I haven't gotten to yet, or some guys that I think that are going to return and such. So be aware of that as well. Javon Foster here at 99. I like this cat's movement skills. This is his second full year as a starter there for Mizzou. Zach Charbonnet, one of the premier power backs in this class. It's wild to think he would have gone probably much higher for me in 2022. Quindale Johnson, I love this cat's movement skills. I've talked about him at excess on this channel over the past month. Carl Brooks, another guy I've talked about over the past few weeks, who's just blowing it up there in the MAC. Olusegun Oluwatimi, this dude had a banger game against Ohio State. He's got better than you would expect movement skills. I really like for most part, he is a guy that he's a mauler, man. He's got a lot of power, but movement skills are better than you would anticipate. He is a bit of an older prospect, but dude's getting it done. He might be one of those guys you could start early in his career. Trey Palmer, I just talked about him in the stock report video, so if you want to check him out, you could go check that video out. DeMarvion Overshown, man, he's weird, man. He's thin, he's wiry. The play was so much better this season. You may I don't know. He's kind of a tough projection. Is he a linebacker? Maybe you want to move him just like this big safety. I mean, this is a guy that probably needs a little bit more physicality in his life. But I'm glad he had a good rebound year after 2021. Kobe Wooden, he's a bit of a tweener, but another guy getting the job done there at Auburn. Brandon Joseph, a guy that I liked so much like a year and a half ago, has kind of fallen. I pegged this dude to be like a top 15 pick back in the 2022 class. After the season, I had him around the 70s. Then this season, I was like, you know what, man? He moving to Notre Dame, dude. He's going to pop off. So I had him, I think, inside the top 30 or top 40 to open the year, and here he is at 91. Still a good prospect, man. Just not as good as I expected. And then on to the next part of the list, number 90, Christian Haynes, a guy that I've talked about over the last month and a half, man. This dude is a really good mover, man, and I could see him flying up boards, especially if he could get a Senior Bowl invite. Jair Brown, man, a really good safety there at Penn State. I think he might have a little bit more limitations, though, than what we saw with Jaquan Brisker. But again, we'll have to see him test out. Zach Evans, quietly has had a really good season, and I think a lot of that has to do with well, the freshman running back over there at Ole Miss. But still, Zach Evans is a tremendous athlete. You got to imagine team will be willing to take him somewhere on day 2. Jaquilin Roy, honestly, I think he might return. Unfortunately, with Mason Smith going down early, Roy had to take on a lot by himself, and it's not been the leap that I was expecting to open the year. Tank Bigsby, man. It's nice to see Tank back. And, yeah, dude's straight on day 2 guy, man. I like that he's less dancey now. He's got a lot of less. He's just moving a lot less. Like, there's a lot less unnecessary movement. It's like, you got this contact balance. You ain't got to make guys miss. So, yeah, it was nice to see that. Matt Bergeron, man, had a really good year. He'll be going to the Senior Bowl as well. You got, man, I should bring up how to pronounce Mr. Northwestern edge talent name. I got the abbreviation right here. Aditamiwa Adibarie. Freaking love it. He's a bit of a tweener, man, but he improved his run game a bunch this season. That was kind of an area of concern for me. And man, dude has been disruptive. Steve Avila he's a big boy center / guard there for TCU, having a good year. More of a mauler type, though. Kobe Turner, he's going to be an older prospect, formerly a Richmond transfer, having a really good year for Wake Forest. Might not be like a high-end athlete, but this guy wins reps. Byron Young, another guy that is on the older side, but he's newer to the game, and like the physical traits are really there for him. He has gotten shut down against better teams this season, like a la Georgia. So I think that kind of hurt his stock a little bit for me. But like, you're getting a very good prospect that just needs a little polish technique wise. And then Jordan Battle here at 80, man. I'm so curious. I was talking to Alex from Hail Mary Sports about this the other day, about what projection did Jordan Battle get in the 2022 draft that made him want to return? Because I thought he was like a second, at the very least, early 3rd rounder if you went in the 2022 class. Now we're probably looking more to the 3rd round, as it's just kind of like been more to the same, like, from him in terms of what he brings to the table. He kind of is what he is. Cody Mach. I really like Cody Mach. Another guy that's probably an older prospect. He was a walk-on there in North Dakota State, and got good movement skills. Might end up kicking a guard, but I think he could probably make it out there at tackle. Mozzie Smith, man, he's had a really good year there for Michigan. He was number 1 on Bruce Feldman's Freaks list. Big fan. Cedric Gray might be one of the best run stuffing linebackers in this class. Not entirely sure if he declares, because believe he is a true junior. Luke Musgrave, he is going to the Senior Bowl, which is great. We only saw him in 2 games, but he looked mighty darn impressive. Love the receiving skills on this cat. Cooper Beebe, yeah, he's going to be a guard at the next level. I like him. I just feel better about guys like Adam Voorhees. You'll see much higher on this list. But like, Beebe's fine. Honestly, he could probably go higher than this. It's just he has a game that doesn't just like pop off, you know? He's just very good, very consistent, and it is what it is. Trey Benson, I've been talking about all week. You can go check out I think he made my did he make my running back rankings last time? I'm not positive. But go check out the stock report. I love this cat. This guy's got freaking speed for days. He's got the highest force missed tackle rate in college football right now. Big fan. Tyler Newman, he's long, he's fast, explosive. Just a guy that needs to trust his eyes more, but man, he's looked good this year. Keon White, another physical specimen there out of Georgia Tech. Finally got to really see him play this year, like a full year, after basically not really seeing that since 2019. Darnell Washington, just a dude that's a freak in terms of like such a good athlete at 6'7", like 270. Not entirely like this linear guy. I think there will be some limitations when it comes to him as a receiver. He's not like going to be this complete receiver you'd expect at the tight end position. But being one of the better run blocking and pass blocking tight ends in this class, on top of that, a guy with a lot of straight line speed and just that size, man, it's nuts. All right, we got Devin A-Chain, a guy I talked about in depth more on the stock report this past week, that I've come away so impressed this year with him being able to take the volume of carries, and then just the contact balance looks so much better this season. Like he may not have the size, but he's much better than I anticipated in terms of taking contact, or at least what he was in 2021. Hendon Hooker, unfortunately with the ACL injury, he will slide down boards. I'm still willing to take this guy mid-day too. I think he could be a high-end backup in the NFL with starter upside. And he had a magical year. It's unfortunate it was cut short. But here at 69, nice. Christopher Smith's had a pretty solid year. Don't know if he's really in that top 50 mix. Like, I was thinking Lewis Seen at the beginning of the year, but I'm not saying he's fallen off. It's just the ball skills just haven't appeared to be there since. Cedric Tillman, listen, I'm not gonna be wild as some people are with Cedric Tillman. I think he's a vertical contested catch guy. He kind of is what he is. Sean Tucker, I love this cat. I love the size. I love the speed. I love the contact balance. I'm not even positive the stats are similar to last year with him. But I think we're seeing about the same. It's not nearly as dominant in terms of the forced missed tackles, but it's like, you know what you're getting in terms of what he has as speed, contact balance. You like the frame. I'm just kind of curious if because he's had, like, it's weird. He's had big, like, pop-off games, and then he'll go quiet in a couple. And to be fair, not all of Syracuse's front five has done an exceptional job as blockers for him. Yeah, he's over 1,000 yards this season compared to what he was, like 1,500. Yeah, 1,500 the year before. Yeah, I mean, the force miss tackle rate, honestly, between the two seasons are very similar. Thing is, he's not getting as many yards after contact this season, but still a big fan of Sean Tucker. Derek Hall, man, I like him as a Y9 guy. Not necessarily the most flexible guy, but a dude that's very explosive. Luke Whippler? Gotta figure out how to say his name. Not a very exciting type of skill set, but it's just one that gets the job done. He's just a do-good player in this draft. Rashee Rice, I love what this guy can do after the catch. I think he's strong at the contested catch point. He's just a playmaker. I can't wait to see him. I believe he had a Senior Bowl invite. Chris Abrams-Drain moved to the outside this year. Doesn't have ideal size, but he has looked good nonetheless. Kalijah Cansey, a bit of a tweener at his size, but he's been hella productive there at Pittsburgh. All right, on to Mike Morris, a guy with a very interesting body at 6'6", 290. Let me pull him up here. Yeah, 6'6", 290. Very interesting body. Has been productive for the most part this season. Zach Harrison, another guy with a very interesting body at 6'6", 272. Stupid strong. You know, he's stupid explosive. And he feels more polished this year, but that's still you can still tell it's not all the way there. I don't think he's the most functional athlete, but it could look clunky at times, but this year, man, things are firing all cylinders for him. He's going to test exceptionally well. Jack Campbell is just a very good linebacker. He's actually, I think, has one of the best coverage grades per PFF. A guy that can't do a lot of crazy things in coverage, but he'll make sure to he's a sure tackler. You're going to get a minimal gain if he does allow you to catch underneath. But again, just a guy that's like, you look and you're like, we could probably start him from day one. Tully Toi Piloto, another guy that's a bit of a tweener, probably ends up being like a 3-tech in the NFL, but he's had a really good year. I think he's got like 12 sacks on the season. Garrett Williams might return, maybe even transfer. I don't know. The injury cutting his year short might cause some of that. Will McDonald, he's up there in age a little bit, but extremely explosive. Kind of reminds me a bit of a Arnold Ebiketie. Kind of interested to see how he measures out at, though. Jahmyr Gibbs. I hate running backs, I guess. Honestly, this is where we could talk about Blake Corum because they're just a couple of spots from one another. To be fair, this is similar spots to where I had Breece Hall and Kenneth Walker last year. So I feel like this is about right. Gibbs, I love that he showed he could play between the tackles there at Alabama. We already know what he could do as a receiver. Blake Corum's just had a monster year. I imagine he could have a very good receiving skill set, just not something that Michigan's really asked him to do. John Michael Schmitz, not the most like fancy center. I mean, he's got size to be guard too, but center prospect. Just a guy that gets it done. He's going to be an early starter in his career. Luke Van Ness. Honestly, Mike could be higher than this. It's just it was hard for me to put him higher because I feel like he doesn't come out, but he might, man. He's getting some first round love from some people like Dane Brugler. So definitely something to watch out for. All right, on to the top 50. This is what you're really here for. Devin Witherspoon, dude. Devon Witherspoon, I'm a huge fan of. I love this guy's length. I love the physicality he plays with. Good athlete, constantly around the ball. Jalen Hyatt, man. This dude's going to have blazing speed, and he's had a hell of a year. Blake Freeland is my Abraham Lucas prospect in this class, which probably means he's going to go in like 70-80 range in real life. Drew Sanders, dude's a tremendous athlete. Tremendous explosiveness. Yeah, you gotta clean up the missed tackles, but keep in mind this is the first time he's played a traditional linebacker role since his senior season of high school. He was kind of being an edge rusher there for Alabama before he transferred to Arkansas. But man, he does have that bend to him, so it doesn't surprise me. Alabama tried him out at that. Andrew Voorhees, I freaking love him. He's just a do-good guard. Guy that would have been a early day 2 pick in the 2022 class if he didn't want to return. And honestly, with USC possibly making the playoffs, they just got to seal the deal Friday night. Might not have been a bad decision. Eli Ricks, another guy I'm not positive will come out. He popped off in his first game as a starter for Alabama. The Mississippi State game was amazing. And it was such a high bar to set that everything else has kind of been lackluster. I think he only he only has one pass breakup since that game, and in that game he had 4. So I don't know, man. It's yet to be seen, but he's got a skill set that could go much higher. Andre Carter, this guy needs to get in an NFL weight room. Just get on an NFL team and get him start developmenting. But a very, very raw prospect with a ton of physical upside. Parker Washington, I love this dude. He's basically a running back at the wide receiver position. He creates so well after the catch. He high points the football exceptionally well. Big fan. Problem is, might only be a slot guy. Dalton Kincaid, man. Dude's looked fabulous this year. Premier receiving tight end in this class. Braylon Trice, talked about him on the stock report earlier this week. A guy that has a lot of power and explosiveness to his game that honestly could end up returning. Him and Lucas Van Ness could honestly return and be headliners in the 2024 draft with Dallas Turner there. And then top 40, we got Gervin Dexter, man. I love this dude's size. He may seem a little bit tall, and there are times he does struggle to get leverage, but man, this dude's played all over that Georgia front. Clark Phillips, man, size is gonna kill him. A lot of teams will probably view him as a slot corner only because of that size. I think he can make it on the outside in a off-zone coverage scheme because this dude's got ball skills. Tanner McKee. Mike Renner said something that just soggied up my pants, if you know what I mean. He was like, honestly, Tanner McKee, he returns and then transfers. I freaking love that, especially with David Shaw gone. David Shaw, was it Shaw? Coach Shaw, gone from Stanford. McKee might have more incentive maybe to return, transfer, because I think this guy's got first. Like I'd be willing to take him in the first round. I'd be sitting here at 38. So yeah, you could basically say, yeah, I'm willing to take this guy in the back half of the first round. Just the lack of mobility. I don't know I mean, with teams love and fascination with like having those playmakers that can extend the play with their feet. Like McKee might never be that guy, and not say he's not a statue in the pocket by any means, but he's not going to be a guy that wants to consistently win with his feet or even extend the play. He likes being in rhythm. He was shown to be a much better decision maker this year. He does get a bit too conservative this season, but I feel like that's more of a reflection on a very lackluster Stanford offense. But I'm actually a big fan of McKee, so I don't know, man. Maybe he does return transfers. That'd be kind of cool. Felix Enudike Uzama, dude with very good production, and might not have the high-end traits as some of the other edge rushers in this class. Josh Downs, I've come around to, man. I'm a big fan of Josh Downs. I think he could win on the outside. I'm not on like Jahan Dotson levels of love for him, and I think this is about the area I had Jahan Dotson. So I don't know if he could get much higher for me. Manuel Forbes, man, if you're looking for a lengthy corner that is his expertise is in zone coverage, this is your guy. Pick six nightmare, legit 6 of them over his career. Jalen Jones is kind of very similar prospect to Manuel Forbes, just doesn't have the ball skills necessarily, but much better size. That's why they're basically one right after the other. They're very similar in terms of what they're probably going to be. These guys that can play press, but you probably want them in a zone-heavy scheme just because that's where they came from. They came from zone-heavy schemes. Not to say they can't play man, because they definitely have the length and the size to play man very effectively. It's just, these guys are like, they will excel in zone coverage. Keyshawn Butte here at 33. Not an ideal season for Butte, obviously. He's done a lot of rehabbing of his stock after the Florida State game. But, man, I'm just curious how far will we see these receivers fall in this class. DeJuan Jones, I've moved up quite a bit. He is literally what people wanted Daniel Falalele to be. Jones has a ridiculous size, ridiculous wingspan. He has shown so much improvement this season. I'm behind this guy, and of course I am. He would literally like cover me. He's like like if I was looking for shade, he is like a tree. BJ Ojulari, one of the most productive pass rushers in this class. Think Yannick Ngakoue. That's kind of what I think of Ojulari. Might not be a plus run defender, though I think he plays the run. I think he plays the run fairly well considering his size. But he is in that mold of like Daniil Hunter, Yannick Ngakoue. All right, on to the top 30. Anthony Richardson. Listen, quarterbacks, they go high. This guy's got all the physical traits and physical tools. Obviously, there's a lot of things you need to iron out in his game, and he's by no means ready to start. But if you're a team that's like, yeah, we could probably sit Richardson for a season. I don't know if you're like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and try to develop this cat where you already have your plan put in place for the next year at quarterback. I'm probably willing to take a shot on Richardson. Osiris Torrance, man, he's come out, had a banger year. Did it in Louisiana, now he's doing it in Florida. Good on you, my friend. Jackson Smith and the Jigba. It's wild. I heard Dane Brugler talk about how some teams have a 3rd round grade on Jackson Smith and the Jigba. And like in all honesty, if you see him for what he is, a slot receiver who has after the catch ability, I don't think that's far away. I think he's still like a top 50 guy, and a guy that, especially after he tests, if he's able to test, that's not going to blow the doors, or it's not going to blow the doors off anything. You're going to walk away like, man, he is just not that athletic. And then you're going to go back and look at, or at least in terms of the 40 timer, you're going to look at like a Cooper Kupp, and it's like, man, this guy's been like super successful. Like, you're kind of, I guess you draft Smith hoping he could be the exception there. That this is a guy that could come in and be this high-end slot player, but it's still kind of rolling the dice to that regard. Anton Harrison, a guy that is still developing, like his play strength. Like if you start this guy early in the league, he is gonna lose out to power guys. It's something he knows. It's something he's worked on this year, and he's got better in some regards, but it's still a work in progress. Siaki Ika, man, I love this dude's size and what he's able to do in terms of pushing the pocket, but more so, he's just this big space eater that has that upside, that ceiling. Isaiah Foskey, this guy's just probably one of the highest floor individuals. Great length, plays with juice, very good run defender. Antonio Johnson might be a big slot, probably could be one of your split high safeties, and just great size on him. He's, again, this season he's played more of a traditional safety role and looked very good. Nolan Smith, this dude's gonna test out like a freak. I think the plan is he'll be good to go by the combine, potentially. But yeah, he's going to test out exceptionally well if he's allowed that, at least his pro day. A guy whose win rate was much better than what his like pressure and sack numbers would tell you, just because, Georgia, they like to rotate the guys in and out. Big thing with him is going to be size, and it was a big reason I didn't love him. But he's just so good at his size as a run defender, and that he does have a little bit of off-ball coverage, that the right scheme, you look at him and you're like, you'd be willing to take him. So he was one of the weirder guys to like place on this list. Trent Simpson, absolutely fabulous out in space. He's probably going to be ideally like a will linebacker in the NFL, but man, big fan. Here's Will Levis. Listen, I think he goes top 10, top 15. Teams are going to look at his physical tools, look at the type of offenses he's ran the last 2 seasons at Kentucky, him going through progressions, and think they could remedy the decision making, or the lack thereof, good decision making. They're going to think they could fix that. So I got him here at 21. Like I think I've consistently been saying, I probably, like if I'm a team, I realistically probably start thinking of Will Levis outside the top 20. But the closer you get to that pick 20, the more I think a team will be willing to jump. So it's like you kind of extend that by a few picks. Like, okay, like this maybe pick 14, pick 15, I really start to think about them. Like quarterback values just does that to you. On to the top 20. Christian Gonzalez, dude's going to test out well. Honestly, after doing my big board, he's probably the one I want to move up a little bit. Like, I love the ball skills have looked so good this season. He's going to test out like a freak. So, I probably, maybe now in hindsight, maybe move him to 17 or 16. Potentially. I don't know. 20 is a good spot for him. Jared Verse, this dude's going to test out great. Is a guy that is all muscle. If you think he can't put on more weight, he's currently 251, then I think you're crazy, because he can. He's all muscle at this point. He put on 20 pounds of pure muscle on after he transferred from Albany to Florida State, man. He's just been uber productive this season, and actually through his career. Broderick Jones, man, a guy that still needs a bit more polish, but in terms of length, size, athleticism, he's got it. Bijan Robinson, this is the highest I have had a running back, I think, since I've been doing the channel. So I guess the last 3 drafts, something like that. I'm not wild about running back value, but Bijan, he's a bit different. Honestly, if we were talking about how he grades out for his position, he's a top 10 guy. It's just the running back it's a devalued position in today's NFL. Brian Branch, I absolutely love this guy. Great athlete, a sure tackler, a guy that's just, he is a good football player, whether he's playing in the box deep or in the slot. Jordan Addison, got a lot of speed. Dude's got a lot of speed. He can search the field vertically and horizontally. I don't know if he has many other trump cards than that, but it's nice to see him winning on the outside at USC. Cam Smith, man, just teams didn't throw to this guy this season, so the ball skills weren't there like they were in 2021. But he's another guy that's just, I think he's probably more, or he's less scheme dependent than some of the other guys. Like you look at Christian Gonzalez and you probably really like that guy in a press man scheme. Like the next guy we're talking about, Joey Porter. Like ideally you want this guy in press, but like he's a guy that's played a lot off coverage. Like that's why him and Cam Smith are very close to one another. I feel like they're very they're both very versatile in terms of the coverage you could ask them to do. Porter, he's got the length, he's got the athleticism, you love the physicality. Tyree Wilson, I think the dude's going to test out well at his size. He's going to go to Senior Bowl. He is not playing the rest of the season because of a foot injury, and he is just going to go ahead and prepare for the Senior Bowl. And yeah, the dude's production's been out the wazoo. Got Michael Mayer. Listen, I know this guy ain't Kyle Pitts, but consistent chain mover, a guy that knows how to get separation in a variety of different ways outside of just his speed. He's not a high-end athlete, but the dude is tough to bring down after the catch. And some of the softest hands in this class, very good blocker. So it's like he can do it all for your squad. Like honestly, think TJ Hawkinson. And then on to the top 10, Paris Johnson Jr., the best human being in this draft class. Cat that has cut his teeth playing tackle for the first time in his collegiate career, and he's looked pretty darn good. And athletically and physically, like he's got the tools to be elite. Keely Ringo, another guy that I think could play press that might be more ideal to zone coverage rather than man, because there will be questions about his lateral ability. But if you looked at him, like he's a freak in terms of his speed at his size. You look at how he's played this year, and it's been a lot of, hey, I'm not gonna let guys beat me over the top. And he's allowed a lot of things underneath, man. Anytime I've seen him getting beat, it's been something underneath, dude. And I hate it, but in terms of raw ability, physical tools, like this guy's gonna be a top corner in the class. We got Quentin Johnston. Maybe I'm a little higher on him than the consensus of the community, but like he feels like Drake London to me. Might not have the impeccable contested catch numbers, but I think Quentin Johnston might be able to do a little bit more after that catch, though. They do have a similar skill set. I don't think Quentin Johnston has the Drake London problem of, oh man, we're going to question his launch speed. Like Johnson, I think is going to be a 4.4 guy. Peter Skoronski, I'm going to leave him here for now, man. It's going to be at the combine where we figure out what his what do you call it, measurements are, how he tests out, and that's gonna mean some things. How teams are gonna view him. Is he a tackle? Is he an interior player? So we're just gonna hold on that sucker. Brian Brazee, man, you could talk about him and Miles Murphy in the same vein. These are guys that have good physical tools, that are really good athletes. So I think Murphy's a better athlete. And I think Murphy's a better athlete. I think Brian Brazee's a bit more polished, but it's fair to say both these guys are very unpolished, and he worked on their technique. But I love Brazee in terms of this dude grinds out each and every rep. He will get his hands dirty. Miles Murphy, he has been a can opener to that Clemson defensive line. He has enabled a lot of production. Like both him and Brazee have enabled guys like KJ Henry, Tyler Davis, Xavier Thomas to look real good this year. CJ Stroud. I think it could be fair that I don't think there's a guy I'm willing to put ahead of him. Like, I still think Stroud's top 5. I get the concerns in terms of, like, he's very much a rhythm passer. He likes to work inside a structure. He's the guy on an arm capable of dropping dots. But it's when things aren't ideal where it's like, like, this is a guy that doesn't want to extend the play with his legs. If he doesn't have to, he'll stay in the pocket and have to take a hit. You kind of worry about his improvisation. So, like, I understand some of the critiques of Stroud. I'll just say that. But still, for what he is, ooh, that arm is special. Jalen Carter, Will Anderson, this is like 1A, 1B. These are exceptionally physically gifted athletes that are the best non-quarterback prospects in this class. And, of course, Bryce Young, dude. I love this guy. The only knock I think you're going to find is size with him. And for the most part, he's been very good at protecting himself in college football. The one time he went down this season was he was extended to play with his legs and rolling out and held on to the ball as long as he could till one of his guys got open. And he went ahead and made the pass, got nailed, landed on his shoulder. He only missed, I think, a couple of games though because of it. But that's honestly the one instance where I saw him like get hit. Like, this guy typically takes really good care of his body. But that's my top 100. That's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing. I know there's going to be popular guys like Zay Flowers, who I like. I'm just not as high on as probably everyone else. Noah Sewell will be a surprise. This is a cat that, like, unfortunately, like, straight up, the missed tackles still are a concern, but even more so, his coverage prowess is next to nothing. Henry To'oTo'o is a guy I'm a bit indifferent about. He kind of feels like just the same player we've seen over the last few seasons, so I don't know how great that really is. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section below. That's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing. As always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.